Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher of Realms, guys. Today we're talking about the best build for Silas. We're going to do a little bit of testing today, and there's a lot of things to test. We have attack percentage versus crit damage because he's ignoring defense. We have Hell's Lament, we have Infernal Roar, and we have Soulbound Arcana. Which is best? And is it just specifically to certain scenarios? We're also going to overlook the hero a little bit and kind of break that down for you. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, so we're looking at Silas, and he is of the Starpiercer faction only. But he does get that marksman effect. He's going to have the penetration abilities for the damage type. He's also going to get the extra 15% from heroes or lords like Yovar and Raka, and the extended attack range, which is very nice. And he also is going to get the damage boosts that come in from Yovar and Raka as well. So with Yovar, he's going to get to a 45% over a 60-second duration. And then with Araka, it's going to be dependent on how far he is away from the target. Alright, so let's go over to the skills here. Onto the talent with Silas, it deals 20% extra damage to airborne units. So yes, he's going to get more damage to airborne units. Unfortunately, it's really hard for me to test this out and show you that. But just assume, whatever he's doing 20% extra. It does work. He does get extra damage against them. After attacking 5 times, triggers Soul Sniping on the next attack. Soul Sniping is going to ignore 50% of the target's defense. He's doing physical damage, is obviously ideal for him. It's also going to be doing 140% damage. Very, very important for his kit. This is where all of his main damage is going to be coming from. It's what makes him special. It's Soul Sniping, okay? Under the basic is going to be physical attack, does 120% damage to one enemy, prioritizing airborne units. And we have Blood Pact. If a unit within attack range dies, increases damage by 40% for 10 seconds. This effect can be triggered up to 1 time every 15 seconds, right? Eye of Curse. This is something else that's pretty important, but it's really important when the Awakened 5 is unlocked. We'll go over that in a minute. After attacking the same target for 5 seconds, inflicts Eye of Curse upon a target for 12 seconds. Eye of Curse will be triggered only 1 time every 20 seconds, which means it's going to have like a 55 to 60% uptime, increases Soul Sniping damage multiplier by 50% against targets with the Eye of Curse. Soul Sniping does that 140%, ignoring 50% defense. Alright, then we're going to go on to the ultimate here, Shadow Cloak. Relatively easy to come back to pretty quickly if you're doing like a Nightmare 4 style team, but damage increases by 80%, so automatically 80% increase. In each attack becomes a Soul Sniping that ignores the defense and magic resistance of the target for 20 seconds. So every single hit that he does is going to have that ignoring 50% of the target's defense. You can see here on the Awakened level 1 that the attack speed goes up by 100 when the Shadow Cloak is in effect, so it's also pretty cool. The big indicator of whether or not you should be really focusing on Silas against bosses is going to be whether or not you have a Vierna. The amount of damage increase that comes from this bond skill is insane. So it just turns this hero into kind of like, okay, kind of great hero, to like, wow, this hero is essential. I use it everywhere. But during the effect of Shadow Cloak, Soul Sniping deals 100% extra damage. That's that 140%, ignoring 50% defense. Essentially what happens is if you watch it closely, when you have the Vierna bond skill, you're going to see the arrows, he's going to shoot the arrows. And instead of just shooting 1 arrow, he's going to just shoot 2 arrows. So 2 attacks is what's going to happen during Shadow Cloak instead of the 1. That's how they calculated that and made that work. Awakenings here. Awaken level 1 is that increased attack speed by 100% here, or 100. Let me get over to 1 second. Sorry about that. Increases attack speed by 100 when Shadow Cloak is in effect. And Awaken level 2 is attack plus 300. Silas's attack is actually relatively low. It's not that it is important because he's ignoring defense, and he's also a marksman with penetration, so that's just kind of how that works. And Awakened level 3 is going to be when there are more than 2 marksmen on the field, increases damage of the hero and 1 random allied marksman by 15%. It's very important for team skills, with team synergy here. Awakened level 4 is a Rage Rend plus 2, and then we have Awakened level 5. This one is also really important. Eye of Curse will increase physical damage to the target by 15%. Now, I actually don't know if that is going to help other allied units, so it's kind of interesting. I'm sure I can find a way to test that out quickly and figure that out. But I do believe that any ally on the team should be doing 15% extra physical damage, but possible it's just him. All right, so what is the big question here? Okay, so left side, I'm gonna break this down to you. It's gonna be Wicked Vengeance, Warlord, Calamity, and then Annihilating Might. It's gonna be the order of what's best versus worst, okay? And it's gonna be because that crit damage plus 40% is very good for him. So crit damage being higher on Silas is good because of the way the attack formula works. We attack minus defense times the multiplier, okay? So if you have ignoring defense abilities, you can buff up the crit damage a bit more. It's a good tip for almost any hero in the game. I wouldn't go too overboard. He's ignoring the most defense in general, so you can do a little extra crit damage with him. But with that being said, he's also picking up the attack 10% and then the attack speed and any other buffs from the quad rolls that you can get here on the Wicked Vengeance set. Warlord's going to be a really good option because you're picking up the attack percentage and the attack speed. And Calamity is going to be good because you're picking up the attack percentage. Attack percentage is still kind of king. You still want to get to a certain threshold, right? I think it's right around 12k is a good mark. Hit 12k and then start bumping up your crit damage. So I'm gonna knock that one out of the park right away. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I also have a Silas video that I have tested thoroughly of attack percentage versus crit damage, right? Let me get that, show you how to access that quickly. I'll also put the link down in the description for you. Get display capture going. Okay, if you go to my main channel here, you can even just go down to popular videos. It's one of the best ones. We have one here for Hex as well. You can see the top videos here, but if you just go over one, you can see there's a Silas debate here. Let's settle this attack percentage versus crit damage. The video did really well about a year ago at 11k, and it'll break down for you pretty well. This is before the hat too, so keep that in mind. It's one of my better older videos that I actually released, so it did really well because people were really curious about that. And I will also tell you in this video as well, but if you want to see the full breakdown, just go to that. Essentially what ended up doing was attacking the guild boss Nightmare 4 over and over again, trying to find those numbers. There's going to be a little caveat if you're going against the newer bosses that have come out. They've had really high defense, but typically you want to go with 1 attack percentage and 2 crit damage for Nightmare 4 and lower. And then if you go any higher than that, like Abyss 1 or APOC 2, or trying to do something in the Matrix with a Silas, which would be kind of weird, you want to go for 2 attack percentage. But in general, campaign content, Void Rift content, anything else like that, just go for 1 attack percentage and 2 crit damage on the right side, and that's going to get you taken care of. No, but the debate I want to really settle here today is going to be, we have Cataclysm, we have Hell's Lament, we have Infernal Roar, we have Soulbound Arcana. And those 2 pieces, or those 3 or 4 sets, I should say, 3 or 4 sets are pretty hard to figure out. Soulbound Arcana and Infernal Roar is already been somewhat settled in the community. I believe there was a couple content creators that really broke this down. Forgive me if I forget their names. You guys can throw it down in the comment section if you want to. But the Infernal Roar set seems to take the lead. And the reason that is because the Infernal Roar, the basic attack boost here, the way this is worded, basic attack damage plus 40%, to how it lines up in the formula. So if it lines up early in the formula for how that hero's damage multiplier is worked out, the basic attack damage is going to apply earlier, which is going to lead to higher numbers. Now, I've also done some testing myself, and I've also found out that even though you might get slightly better from Infernal Roar, it is so slight that if you wanted to use Soulbound Arcana set, you could. That being said, if you don't have a lot of heroes or you're not activating a lot of ultimates on the field, it's easier just to go with Infernal Roar, because even with Soulbound Arcana at 5 stacks, they're so close, you can just get the equal amount of damage out of Infernal Roar immediate. So you might as well just do Infernal Roar. Besides the fact that not a lot of heroes use Infernal Roar. So Soulbound Arcana versus Infernal Roar, settle that right now. Infernal Roar is going to be the one that you want to go with. Not necessarily because you're going to get massive big damage numbers compared to Soulbound Arcana. It's so slight that it just barely matters. But because he's going to have that attack buff immediate. You don't have to wait for stacks. You don't have to put him down anywhere. Infernal Roar is just going to work. He's going to be ready to go right off the bat. But the big question is, we have this new set, Tier 3 Hell's Lament. And this is a really good set. So in this set, we're gonna have when the ultimate is triggered, increases damage by 35% and crit damage by 50%, lasting for 20 seconds. Now, if we go to Silas's ultimate, how long does that last? Exactly 20 seconds. So whenever Silas is in his ultimate, he's gonna get that buff from Hell's Lament. We go look at that again, bring it back up. Yeah, increases damage by 35%, but you also get the crit damage extra from 50%, which for him is insane because he's ignoring defense already. And then there's other things to take into consideration, like his exclusive earpiece here. Exclusive for Silas is going to be increases the damage of soul sniping to 160%, an extra 20% damage boost to soul sniping as well. So you're looking at a 55% boost compared to Infernal Roar's 40%. So how does this equate to? And you know, as far as the formula could be considered, I'm not really even sure how to equate or calculate that, you know, just by raw math, but we can do a test and see what happens, and that's what we're going to do today. Sorry about all the talking, guys. I'm just trying to break down the idea here. We also have Eye of Penitence is going to be his best artifact, just so you guys know. It is a very good one. Blood Pact now triggers periodically instead of triggering upon enemies' death in range. This makes it so that he doesn't have to have enemies go down in order for him to get that boost, but he also gets a damage boost by up to 15%, I believe. Other than that, you can go with a Spirit Siphon or a Blight Caller's Claw. Both of them are very good. All right, so here is the build for Silas. Now you're going to see on Infernal Roar set, there could be higher crit damage here, but I am trying to focus on real high crit rate so I can get a little bit of rage gen in there as well. Crit rate at 27%, crit damage at 26.5, attack speed at 71, and flat attack at 410. Flat attack is very, very, very valuable. Crit damage here on the amulet, attack bonus 23.5, crit rate of 23.5, attack speed of 89. That's a nice roll there. Flat attack of 370. Then we have the crit damage ring. It's gonna have attack percentage of 23.5, crit rate of 24%, attack speed of 73, and a flat attack of 438. Now, why would I do that instead of going with a piece that says, 35% crit damage? Because I have them. I do have those pieces. We're focusing on this crit rate. Over here on the left side, we have attack bonus, crit rate, really high crit rate roll again, and a crit damage. That's actually a really nice roll there too. This is a very godly tight piece here. An attack speed of 81, okay? Now that gets me to the 101 crit rate just off these 4 pieces. So then I can go to the breastplate and go attack speed, crit damage, attack bonus, and add rage regen. Otherwise, this would have to be crit rate as well. So I'm picking up 19.5% in rage regen. These are the optimal crazy builds for heroes right now, especially heroes that end up in the end game content that you really, really need to push for really high damage. Otherwise, if you can't get those high crit rate rolls on the right side, just go ahead over here and add another quad roll, Wicked Vengeance piece here. All right, so you see the stats. We got 1 attack percentage. We have the 2 crit damage pieces. This is what I have found in the past on Nightmare 4 to be the best, okay? So let's go ahead and run that number. We'll put him under a Yovar, I guess. Yes, under Yovar would be good. I'll give him a healer. Let me see here. All right, let's find Yovar. Here's Yovar, and then here's Silas. Yovar does not need to be placed on the field in order for Silas to start stacking up damage from Yovar's benefit here. I do like Yovar more, actually, for the damage boost. And then we have our healer, Elowen, here. And she's going to be the one healing for the most part. And she's going to be in Invigoration as well. So we're going to get that buff. He's going to get the Rage Regen. You could use an Ireless if you wanted to get an extra damage boost, but for this testing today, we're just going to go with this and hopefully be able to take down the boss all the way down to the end. He should be able to, as long as I time that. I want to put it on auto, so let's just go. All right, Silas is ready to go. We'll get him on the field. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the fight, get him placed down on there. We're going to get the damage numbers. I'm going to write those down, and then we're going to do a little time lapse in between when the fight's going so you guys can just watch it go down. That way you know that I'm not interacting with it in any kind of way, and I want to have that evidence for you because we have those people that always question what I've done. All right, so Silas is going to go right here, facing upwards, and then we're going to go ahead and place down Elowen here. And that is going to be it. We're going to put it on auto, hit 2x, and we'll see how far he goes. It doesn't even matter, really. You can see up here his damage right now is Oh, he's popping 279k with that Infernal Roar, going 298. That's that boost from the artifact as well there. All right, so I'm gonna put it in a time lapse right now, and I'll be right back when the video is over with. Alright, you guys can see that obviously he couldn't make it that far on his own. Somebody like a Hex could do that, and that's okay. I kind of expected it to be a bit of a problem. He set around 47.8 million, but we need to get a consistent run going, so I'm gonna have to give him some kind of helper to make sure that we're doing enough damage to that shield that I don't have to worry about it. And that is just fine. What I'll do is I'll build up a Hex, and he's pretty much built, and Hex will have be his backup. Hex can be in that range as well, and that'll also activate, I think, his Awaken level 3, which is right here. There's more than 2 marksmen on the field. You'll get the damage of the hero increased by 15%, so that's going to be great. Not a bad idea anyway. So let's go ahead and get Hex on the field with him to make sure that we get the boss taken down. We don't have to worry about it so much. I'll put a Laurel down as well, let her cycle as well, and it just boosts that rage gen to make sure that the fight gets to the end. So I will try to time this a little bit tighter. I'm gonna go ahead and put down our Silas. We'll give him the Eloin Invig, and then we'll get our Hex next to that, and we will go ahead and put down Laurel, but I'm gonna face her. Yeah, I'll face her up so she's hitting bonus. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it on auto. All right, and that's it. And this should go through this time. Sorry about that. And there we go again. And then Hex is just kind of like doing his thing. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt here to test out this hero because I can't get him just, I want to just put a bunch of other heroes on the team. But he did get the 106 there at Awaken level 3, which is, well, 100, about roughly 100, which is pretty good. But I need to get this test down to make sure that that boss is going down. It's kind of becoming a little bit annoying. We want to see, let's just get another hero out on the field, I suppose. Let's try dropping Leia, and we can bring in a Sumukong. Yeah, let's do that. He's not going to survive. Sumukong. So let's just go ahead and do this. Sorry about this, guys. I wanted you to see that Silas has a bit more issues of soloing Nightmare 4. Obviously his damage isn't really just up there for bosses like this. It is great for bosses though. I will tell you, Bondage Silas is great for bosses, especially in the early mid game, even late game. Igiri and Sumukong have just overpowered this so much, or kind of power crept it so much over the last few months, or I'd say year or so. And yeah, let's get in there. All right, so Silas, and we'll get our Eloin out, and we will get our Hex out again. Little turds, come on. We'll put Laurel facing up just like before, and what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and put down Sumukong. If this team doesn't auto through this, I don't know what I'm gonna do anymore. To figure something else out, I guess. Anyways, I'll be right back after this time lapse. god, we made it through. We made it through. I knew I was gonna make it through. Anyways, off to the damage stats, 133.6 million. And I'm going to go ahead and open up Notepad and write that down for myself so I don't forget during this video. Infernal Roar, 133.637. And then the next one's going to be Hell's Lament. All right. And we know that Cataclysm could be an option. We also do know that as well that the Silas has a few exclusives, right? So he's going to have the ring exclusive. He's going to have his own exclusive. He's also going to have his artifact as an exclusive. He's also bonded. So he has a lot of things going on to make sure that you're getting a maximum amount of damage out of him. So he's kind of like one of those heroes you got to keep piecing the puzzles together. But once you do, like, holy crap, does the game open up for you. Anyways, back to the gear. So I will show you what's going on here. We have the exclusive pieces here. All right, so the bangles here, you can be that increases the damage of soul sniping to 160%, extra 20% soul sniping damage, which is ignoring 50% defense. Is very, very good exclusive for him, right? We also have over here, if you look at the piece I have on Hex, I don't think I'm going to use one of these pieces though. It's just anti-air damage plus 8% for star piercers, and he's not going to be hitting anything in this test with anti-air. If you are going against anti-air, this is going to be a huge choice for you. Or if you're going up against like gear rate 3, 23, or 24, this is definitely something that you're going to want to use. It's all anti-air stuff, so just keep that in mind. All right, so let's build this out here. So we have our Silas piece. That is a pretty good piece actually, so we'll just go with that. And that is attack bonus. And let's try to find the other two being crit damage. And we do want Hell's Lament. So Hell's Lament or Lament, whatever you want to call it. Do we even have crit damage pieces here? Apparently not. Apparently not. Let's find as close as I can get here. And actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys, like on the test server, I don't have much better going on than this as well. So that's just something to keep in mind here. So attack bonus, crit rate, attack speed, we want flat attack. There we go. Low crit rate. Low crit rate. Let's see if I can, I'll refine this. I'll refine this. This is a good piece. I'll refine this a bit, see if we can get it better. Well, that's better. That's better. The things I do for content, guys, I tell you, I don't really need this piece. Don't really need it at all. But I'll take it. Maybe I will use it. I honestly don't use Hell's Lament personally. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, and this is actually going to be a learning thing for me as well, of whether or not Hell's Lament is really worth it. I think I'm just going to end up going with attack percentage. I'm going to burn one more here and see if we get it, but otherwise I'm just going to go with attack percentage. Hey, look at there. Look at there. There we go. Got it. Got it. All right, let's get that on there. Let's get that on there. That turned out really nice. Where to go? That was the one. Hell's Lament, crit damage. And we also need a crit damage piece here, which doesn't seem to exist. So we're gonna have to flop over to attack percentage. So crit damage, crit rate, attack speed. Actually, gonna make the crit rate priority. There we go. Kind of low. Kind of low. All right, so we may have to swap over to drop 20% rage or regen. What an annoyance. What an annoyance. It really is. It really is. That one's really high crit rate already. We have the crit rate at 20% here. I mean, I guess I could try to refine that. That'd be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? Let's try it. See if we get lucky. I'll try like 4. That's 1. If we don't, then we're just gonna have to drop the crit rate. We'll give him some extra attack speed. Hopefully that helps make up for it. But this is one of the reasons why when people ask me how to build heroes, I always give them more of a generic, like, okay, just go with Infernal Roar. If I tell you tier 3 sets, it only applies to so many people out there. If you really want to push those high numbers, yeah, that's what you want to go with a tier 3 set. Typically, we're going to find that out for Silas today because I don't even know. But in general, even myself, been playing for like since the game started, and I craft and stuff like crazy, and I farm the gear dungeons. I've been farming the highest level for like the longest time, almost immediately when it came out. I'm still struggling trying to have the pieces that are as good with the stats as my Infernal Roar pieces. And that's going to be a big indicator and a lesson that we can actually take in today as well. So I'm going to drop the Rage Regen here. Unfortunately, but we're going to go with a nice, solid quad roll breastplate here that we can work with. And that should be pretty close. It's so close, guys. It is so close. It's just 20% overkill. Man, I wish I could get there. 16k attack. Pretty high. 388.5% crit damage. Pretty solid. Alright, so artifact's going to stay the same. We're going to keep the Hell's Lament. We're going to lay down the heroes the exact same way. You can call the guy or the pest here washed because I can't match the 20% Rage Regen, but you know what? That's a lesson well learned, and it's something that we can take into consideration as well. If you can get that gear, it's even worth saying that Cataclysm or Hell's Lament is better because it's so difficult to get. Anyways, let's get in there. Maybe it'll still come out on top. You know, we don't even know yet. I haven't ever ran this kind of test before with Silas, so this is actually a really good lesson for me, and I'm kind of curious myself. So Silas, we're gonna put down Elowin. We're gonna go ahead and put down that Hex. We're gonna get down that Laurel, and then we're gonna get down our Sumukong. We're gonna hit full auto and open up the overall statistics. Turn to the sideways, and I will see you after the time lapse. Alrighty, we're coming up on the end here. Team just dropped over 54. Let's look at those damage numbers. Alright, so Silas is coming at 113.149. 113.149 million, okay? So, there's a lot to take into consideration here. Is Hell's Lament worse than Infernal Roar? I would say that for 90% of players or higher, it might be even like 95% of players, that Infernal Roar is going to be your better bet. Unless you have super good stats coming out of that Hell's Lament set. Okay, so he's also going to be losing a ton of damage now in between. So it's only going to be buffing him during his ultimate. He's going to be losing that buff entirely. Like he's not even wearing any buffed gear, right? There's no bonus effect happening when he is out of his ultimate and Hell's Lament isn't triggered. So every 4 or 5 attacks, he triggers soul sniping. He's losing that ignore defense there. He's also losing that time during on the ultimate. So the Infernal Roar is going to make his basic attacks all do 40% more damage. The soul snipes in between the Shadow Cloak activations are also going to be doing extra damage as well. And we also struggled a little bit with trying to complete a set that was able to match in the Infernal Roar set that we were able to complete. And that is very typical for a lot of accounts. But even I do believe, even if I could, I don't think Hell's Lament would match up to the Infernal Roar set. And that's going to put me in telling you that Wicked Vengeance plus Infernal Roar is the best set for Silas, paired with his exclusive art. Now, is there a scenario where Hell's Lament might come out on top? I do think so. I think that's going to be in Gear Raid 3 for the most part, or specifically for going up against anti-air, and you can run the dual exclusive pieces where you get the extra 8% damage boost, because if he had an extra 8% here, they'd put him at 121. I was able to match the raid regen that was on the other build. That would probably get him to match. And is it really worth struggling that much with refining crystals and recasting crystals and whatever just to get a Hell's Lament set? I don't think so. Just run your Infernal Roar. Don't worry about Hell's Lament or Silas' exclusive, unless you just happen to come across it. Then you can use it and use those other pieces on some other hero. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't think these numbers from Silas coming in at 113 mil are his maximum, because they are not his maximum. In Nightmare 4, you can get him over 200 million pretty easily, okay? The team that he's riding with right there is not optimized for him to be doing what he's doing anyways. So with that being said, Silas is an amazing hero with that ability to ignore defense. You put him out there in Void Rift to snipe down a lot of the bosses. Campaign, he's extremely useful. And those little event stages in between trying to get to the boss or whatever is extremely useful. Mini bosses, he's great. And an anti-air arena, he's awesome taking out those guys, those big tanks. I still use him in those stages from time to time. And if you're looking at any kind of mini boss or elite of that kind, he's gonna snipe them down. And usually if he activates, they're going to get wiped off the map. And that's really where he shines. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I've been the Prospector, and until next time, keep digging.